Investigation, 49 bodies, confession from the monster Robert Charles. Let's go.
Every town has its share of mysteries, but few compare to the chilling confessions of Robert Charles Brown, a man who claims to have killed nearly 50 people. On the surface, Brown's life seemed pretty unremarkable. A military man with a checkered past, eventually leading to his conviction for 2 murders. And yet, his later confessions painted a far more sinister picture, one that's left investigators and the public looking for answers and verification over the details of his crimes. His arrest in 1995 for the murder of Heather Church was really just the beginning. While serving his sentence, he began sending cryptic letters to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, claiming responsibility for numerous other killings. The intrigue surrounding his claims has elevated his status among true crime people and law enforcement, making Robert one of the most infamous persons of interest.
Bro, he just looks crazy. Look at this guy. Damn, bro. He's looking at you and for you at the same time.
In modern American crime. And either he's telling the truth, or that's exactly what he's been searching for: notoriety and power. Robert Brown was born on October 31st, 1952, in Coushatta, Louisiana, the youngest of 9 children. His family, led by his father, who ironically later became a deputy sheriff.
If you like playing games on your phone, then download Testera. It's totally free. Give it a try.
So you're telling me I can straighten my teeth in as little as 4 to 6 months from just £38 a month?
His family, led by his father, who ironically later became a deputy sheriff, was well regarded in the community. But from a young age, Brown was no stranger to tragedy, or even to senseless death. It's not impossible to connect his disregard for human life with the horrific way his maternal grandfather decided to leave this world, by weighing down his body with a heavy chain and ultimately drowning in a cistern. Despite the darkness hanging over the family and a history of...
Did his granddad kill himself by drowning? That's gotta be the most brutal way to unalive yourself ever. It's obviously not, but... Fuck, man. Fuck drowning, bro. Fuck.
Depression on his mother's side, Brown exhibited signs of intelligence, particularly in math. Though he was also a loner, notorious for his short temper. His school years were middle of the road, leading him to drop out just before his 17th birthday to join the Army. He then served 2 tours in Vietnam and 1 in South Korea, but his military career ended in disgrace with a drug-related dishonorable discharge in 1976. Returning to civilian life, Brown drifted through various dead-end jobs across Louisiana, Texas, and Colorado. He delivered flowers and clerked at a convenience store and held various other menial jobs. His personal life was as tumultuous as his work life was mundane. He married 5 times, with each wife describing escalating patterns of abuse and irrational behavior. Clearly,
5 marriages is crazy. That shit sounds expensive, bro.
Robert's path had taken a wrong turn somewhere, and it was only getting worse. Before his infamous murder convictions, Brown's criminal activities painted a
He looks like a different person there. Is that even the same guy?
picture of a petty thief rather than a serial killer. His early offenses included car theft in Louisiana, a bizarre arrest warrant in 1981 for stealing a church bell, and a 1986 conviction for stealing a pickup truck. Police reports also linked him to various drug charges, burglaries, and arsons, alongside troubling incidents of animal cruelty. Despite these red flags, Brown...
Do you reckon the church bell was gold, or like it was gold coloured and he thought it was gold? But really, it's probably just like, I don't know, brass or something.
Remained under the radar of law enforcement for the most part, his violent tendencies masked by a guy who was just kind of dumb, and someone who couldn't stop committing misdemeanors. In 1991, though, this man's true dark nature had finally come to light. On September 17th of 1991, 13-year-old Heather Church was abducted from her home in Black Forest, Colorado, while she was babysitting her younger brother. Despite extensive searches and national media attention, including features on America's Most Wanted, Heather wouldn't be discovered until 2 years later. A camper was looking for a place to settle down for the night when he stumbled upon her remains not too far from Rampart Range Road. The cause of death was clear due to the multiple skull fractures. It was blunt force trauma to the head. Most importantly, though, 3 fingerprints were discovered back at her house on a window screen that didn't belong to any family or friends. So it was believed they belonged to the killer. Those prints were run through several databases all around the country when finally, almost 2 years after Church was discovered, on March 28th of 1995, Brown was arrested for the murder when his fingerprints were matched to a conviction he had back in Louisiana. He avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to the girl's killing and was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. While this conviction was certainly a victory for law enforcement, little did they know of the madness about to come. Because during his incarceration, Brown then began a confusing correspondence with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. He taunted them with strange statements like,
7 sacred virgins entombed side by side. Those less worthy are scattered wide. The score is you 1, the other team 48.
hinting at his claim of nearly 50 murders in total. His written revelation
What do you reckon? You reckon he's crazy? You reckon he's looking for attention? Or you reckon he's telling the truth?
would lead to another conviction in 2006 for the 1987 murder of Rocio Sperry, a 15-year-old who disappeared after going to the movies and whose remains were never found. Brown claimed to have dismembered her body and scattered the pieces out in the woods. And he knew details of the case that had not been printed in the papers or broadcast on the news, such as the type of car she had been driving. The same car that was later found abandoned in a random parking lot, which Brown used to drive her to those woods. But these 2 confirmed murders were just the tip of the iceberg because Brown's letters described a killing spree that spanned several states and decades, painting a picture of a man driven by a twisted sense of morality. He claimed that most of his crimes involved victims of low moral value, whom he opportunistically killed in motels and other transient settings.
What does that even mean, bro? He was killing kids. What did he say?
Claimed that most of his crimes involved victims of low moral value, whom he
Low moral value. What does that mean? Bad people. So he's essentially saying he's killing bad people. This guy's fucked, mate. Fucked in the head.
opportunistically killed in motels and other transient settings. His methods were varied and brutal, including strangulation, stabbing, and shooting, making him one of the most perplexing serial killers in criminal history, as typically, they enjoy a very specific way to dispatch their victims.
Everyday essentials.
One of the more disturbing aspects of Brown's confessions, and perhaps one of the reasons authorities found it hard to imagine he was lying, was his meticulous recollection of all the killings he did. He was able to provide detailed accounts, including dates, locations, and methods, and even drew a map indicating the number of victims in each state. According to this map, he claimed to have killed 17 people in Louisiana, 9 in Colorado, 7 in Texas, and others in states like California, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Despite these detailed confessions, while some do point to the fact that he's telling the truth of his involvement, many of Brown's claims remain unverified to this day. His admissions included specifics like pushing a victim off a cliff.
If none of them have been verified, I don't even know if he's telling the truth. Like, how could you not verify some of this if he's telling you all the information you need? So I think maybe, hopefully he's lying and none of this shit happened.
For using ant killer, which contained chloroform, to subdue another. But the lack of hard physical evidence has led to there being a shadow of a doubt, and so unfortunately, for the victims' families, that looks like how it will remain. Now, Brown is already behind bars for life and is never getting out, which is a good thing, but in terms of nailing down another 47 or 48 murder charges against him from cold case files, well, that's unlikely. There's also a real chance that Brown has exaggerated his number of victims, possibly seeking attention or just to toy with authorities since he needs to find some way to spend his time in prison. Nevertheless, Brown's confessions were enough to secure another life sentence for the murder of Rocio Sperry. His letters and interactions with investigators, notably with retired FBI agent Charlie Hess, who coaxed out his confessions through years of correspondence, provide a chilling insight into the mind of a man who, despite his boasts, remains a mystery in many respects. Beyond the possibility that he simply wanted to gain notoriety or manipulate law enforcement, a tactic not uncommon among serial killers seeking attention, another theory posits that Brown's confessions were partly true, but that he embellished his stories to create a more fearsome persona. Some investigators believe that Brown's confessions might have just been an attempt to gain leverage or favorable treatment while in prison. By claiming involvement in multiple unsolved cases, Brown ensured he remained a person of interest, which could have influenced his conditions in prison or provided a psychological edge over guards and investigators, while also getting him clout and feared status by other inmates. Yet the most messed up possibility of all this is that Brown's confessions might have been driven by a genuine need to unburden himself, that so many people really did suffer such awful fates for merely having been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Serial killers often exhibit a complex mix of guilt, pride, and a desire for recognition. Brown's detailed confessions, combined with his willingness to correspond extensively with investigators, suggest that he may have been motivated by a combination of these factors. What remains crystal clear is that Brown's case is complex. Investigating any serial killer is, let alone when they throw up a giant amount of claims. In the end, it's just hard to distinguish between fact and fiction when dealing with confessions from culprits who are often simultaneously mentally gifted and deranged, and their minds don't really work like a regular person. But let's not allow Brown's messy...
Did he call him mentally gifted? Or did I just hear that?
when they throw up a giant amount of claims. In the end, it's just hard to distinguish between fact and fiction when dealing with confessions from culprits who are often simultaneously mentally gifted and deranged, and their minds don't really work.
I'm confused. What has made him think he's mentally gifted? Because I didn't hear anything that said to me that this guy was even a little bit intelligent.
Work like a regular person. But let's not allow Brown's messy web of confusion to distract us from his profound impact on the families of his alleged victims and the communities involved. And for the families, Brown's claims brought a mix of hope and despair.
Ooh, stinky dog.
Hope because there was finally a chance to uncover the truth about their loved one's fate.
What are you doing?
And despair because many of these confessions lack the evidence needed to bring closure. For these families, Brown's claims have only served to layer chaos and frustration atop their unresolved grief. And the communities across multiple states were left reeling from Brown's revelations. And the possibility that a serial killer had been active in their world for decades without detection was a chilling thought, to say the least. And public reactions range from heightened fear and suspicion to frustration at the perceived failures of law enforcement to connect the dots sooner. As of right now, Robert Brown is serving his life sentences at the Lemon Correctional Facility in Colorado. At 71 years old, he has 2 confirmed murder convictions, is strongly suspected in at least 9 others, and his claims, of course, are that he has 49 victims in total. His life in jail has been marked by continued interactions with investigators, whom he occasionally tantalizes with new details and confessions. Are they real memories or just a carrot on a stick? Very hard to know for sure. But his story is a grim reminder of the darkest side of human nature and the complex challenges in bringing all serial killers to justice. So there were the life and crimes of Robert Charles Brown. I hope you enjoyed the episode today, and if you want more darker content, go check us out on Patreon. It's free to try, and there's an entire library of strange stories you can dig into, plus new ones coming out each week. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I think he probably did do it. Because, listen, he already killed 2 people, right? Well, why wouldn't he kill 50 people if he could? I feel like he probably did. I feel that's probably one sick fuck. What happened to him? Did he get executed, or did he just have a life in jail? These sick fucks, man. I don't know. I don't get the death penalty in America either. Sometimes you see people that kill like 1 person and then they get the death penalty, and then this guy killed like 50. Oh, I guess it's because they didn't confirm it. But still, there is weird cases like that where some person might kill 1 person, get the death penalty, and then someone kills a bunch of people and he just gets life in jail. It's confusing to me, man. But listen, I didn't make the system, so it is what it is, boys. It is what it is. Listen, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.